Hey YouTube, it's me again. Happy Friday. So if you haven't been paying attention, March Madness just happened. It just finished 2 days ago. I'm filming this on Wednesday. Michigan did not win as I predicted, which is very sad. I'm still getting over it. It's sad. We'll move on. Michigan basketball will someday win a title, just not this year. So this week I officially got the call that I have the job that I was applying for, the internship that I was applying for this summer, which means I'm officially employed. Yes. My job is the same job that I did last year, which, if I do say so myself, was actually really, really easy. And there's a lot of just sitting around and doing nothing and waiting for people to show up. So last summer I read the second, third, and fourth books of the Song of Ice and Fire series, which is a lot to read. And then I also read, I think, 2 books on top of that. I read Divergent, and I read Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children. So that's like 5 books, but 3 of those books were very long. So my goal this summer is actually to read a lot more. Because a lot of the books I'm wanting to read are a lot shorter, I'm hoping to get in a lot more. So this will be fun. So Stevie and I both recently started using Goodreads, which is an account where you can log the books that you've read and the books that you want to read. And I just set a very lofty goal of 20 books for the year. So I'm just going to share with you some books that I'm currently reading and books that I plan to read during the summer. And I hope that works out for you. Sorry, it's a little bit of a boring video today. I am studying for an exam. In book guilt videos, people like to show the books that they bought but haven't read. So this video is kind of like a book guilt video, but some of the books I actually haven't bought and I'm planning to buy. So it's like a mix and match. So first and foremost, the first book that I'm currently reading is the 5th book of the Song of Ice and Fire series, Dance with Dragons. I'm probably about a third of the way done, but once I get home I'll probably get into that. It's kind of a really long book, so it's taking me a while. So of the books that I do own that I want to read, I took a class on the 60s last semester and I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to read The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, which is about people that rode around in a van and did a bunch of drugs, especially acid, and a guy wrote a book about it, Tom Wolfe. It's a good book though, my sister lent it to me, I need to finish it and give it back to her. I have kind of started it, but that's one of the first ones on my list. Another book that I need to read is Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. He's an Indianapolis man, which is awesome. I love that about him. What did I read? I read Cat's Cradle and loved it. It was probably one of my favorite books of all time. So I started reading this, didn't get too far into it. This is also a book that I borrowed from my sister and need to give back to her. I bought this book at Half Price Books. It's The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I don't know too much about the book. I just know that my English teacher senior year suggested that I read it. So she had very good reading suggestions, so I bought it, and I'm gonna read it. The next 2 are kind of embarrassing, so don't hate me for not having read these books yet. But J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy and Cuckoo's Calling. I own both of them, but actually haven't read either of them. Casual Vacancy I got probably about a quarter of the way through and then stopped. I'm really bad with that. I do that a lot. It's not bad. I liked it, but I just had school and everything going on. That was over a year ago that I started it. So I need to read this book, read the other one, and talk about some of the other books that are on my list of to-read books. The first book that I really want to read is Ready Player One. I keep hearing about it, and I keep looking for it at the bookstore, half-price bookstore, and I never see it. Another book that I really want is Everyday by David Levithan. He was the one who co-authored Will Grayson with John Green, so I've met him. He's really great. He's a really great author. I read 2 other of his books and I enjoyed those, so this one sounds very interesting. Another book on here is Hollow City, which is the sequel to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I really enjoyed the first book. It kind of ended off kind of a cliffhanger. I've heard the second book is good, but I've heard also mixed reviews. That's probably one of my top books as well to read because I finished the last one and was on the edge of my seat for the next one. Another book that I've really been meaning to read is Eleanor and Park, and I just heard that it's being made into a movie, and I know Stevie's read it, and she enjoyed it, so that's one of my priorities right now, is Eleanor and Park. Along the same line of The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, I would also like to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, the guy who drove the bus in The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. I've seen the movie, I really enjoyed the movie. I probably saw the movie at too young of an age to enjoy the movie, or I was probably too young to even be seeing a movie that intense. But I've seen it, and I enjoyed it, and I think I need to read the book, because books are always better. So those are basically my book guilts, or books to read this summer. It sounds like a hefty goal, 20 books, but considering how little I actually tried to read last summer, and I actually got 5 books done, and 3 of them were long, I trust myself to be able to get a good number done if I actually try. So I'll keep you updated, give you any reviews on like the best books that I read, and if I actually finish all these, and this will give me a good list to see if I'm actually doing what I said I was going to do. And I believe today is probably, I think, the second to last video. That makes sense. The second to last video I'll film sitting here with this terrible lighting behind me. After that, I will be back home, which is, I'm so excited for that. I'm so done with this place. But I'm heading back home. I'm going to be working 2 jobs, so I'll be kind of busy, but I'll have time to record videos here and there. And I'm going to read, and that's going to be fun, and you should read too. And you should get a Goodreads account and rate all your favorite books, and put books you haven't read yet, and set yourself a goal, because it's so much fun, and reading is fun, and I love reading. Goodbye. Have a nice Friday/weekend/ see you next week, Stevie.